Alright guys, so we're going to be on Redshire in the VK 2801. This is actually going to be my 3-mark game for this vehicle. I'm pretty happy that I was able to 3-mark this thing because I was kind of tired of playing it. I knew I could 3-mark it. The expected values are fairly low, but this thing is just kind of a turd sometimes. It's just so big and obnoxious as a light tank that it's very hard to actually play it in some cases as a light tank because it's just that big, man, right? It's so tall that you're not safe in a lot of areas where you would normally be safe with other smaller light tanks that aren't so freaking tall, man. But anyway, whoops, I just took a screenshot. But I'm running this thing, guys, or was running it with vents. So I was running it with vents, low noise exhaust, and optics. That's how I ran it for pretty much every single map. And then I don't have Aslanes, so I was going to hit the alt, but Aslanes is still working on their new, I guess the guy that does it, he has to update it for the next patch of World of Tanks, right? And it hasn't been updated yet. I'm assuming he has a team too, probably, right? So I'm going to say they haven't updated it yet. But that's how I was running it, guys, for pretty much all the spotting maps. It was bounty vents, bounty optics, and bounty low noise exhaust. And then I would just take the vents with me on a city map and run like I think it was improved aiming and rammer. That's how I ran it on city maps. And this is kind of an interesting game because we have a Cromwell kind of YOLO in here. I'm trying to get shots at this guy, and the thing I liked about the VK was the gun is actually pretty good, right? So when I was playing this thing, especially to 3-mark it, and you're running it with bounty vents and 100% crew and all, the gun actually works pretty well. Opposite of something like the 5916, which I just did a video on, right? The 5916 was horrendous on the move, at least for me. That's how the gun behaved. It was very, very trollish. The VK, on the other hand, this thing, actually okay, man. Like, especially coming from the Leopard that has a really inaccurate gun, and like the Lux as well, the looks. Man, I don't know what it was about those two vehicles. I didn't even 3-mark the Leopard. I 2-marked it and stopped playing it because I don't want to run the machine gun on it, right? And the other gun was just so inaccurate, man. I just could not make that thing work. But this VK2801 is basically like playing the Leopard with the non-machine gun, right? But it's even fatter, and you can ram people, and the gun is slightly more accurate. But the concealment, man, the concealment is the big issue. Even with bounty low noise exhaust and like full concealment, I'm only at like 36, 37% concealment. So you just have to be really careful with the concealment, and also the tank is so tall. Like, you see this, guys, you're not even like safe down here fully like you would be in a lot of other vehicles. I would use, for example, like the LT432 or LTG, like those Russian ones, where you wouldn't even be seen down here, right? But you can see here, like, we're just not safe, man. I would show you with the free replay camera, but again, I don't have it because Aslanes. But I'm telling you guys, like, you have to be very, very careful when you play this vehicle, especially if you're ridge poking and stuff, because if you're ridge poking and you're close to people, they can just pick away at your cap. Like, it's just annoying, man. It's very annoying playing this vehicle, and I'm asking for help. The Jackson is pushing into me here. I'm kind of going to be in trouble. I think I'm going to die, right? And then somehow this guy misses a shot or tracks me or something. Yeah, and then the KV2 appears here, and I'm like, okay, now I'm definitely dead. And the KV2 misses the shot, man. So you can call it lucky. You can call it whatever you want, guys. But I don't know, man. It's like sometimes people are just going to make plays that are very aggressive. And if I actually had support here, they should have been dead anyway. So, you know, you can say what you want about it. You can call it lucky. Should I have retreated? Probably. But it's just not something you would normally do from this location, because you almost always have support here, and when people come around this corner, you're going to get that support, and I just didn't get it, so I had to kind of fend for myself, right? But we're going to like progress here, and what I want to do is get to this ridge line. That was kind of my goal from the beginning, but the way this team pushed in with the Cromwell, it just didn't really work that way. So now we're going to push up. I'm going to knock this tree, and I'm just kind of dancing around here, seeing if I'm going to get spotted or not. I'm playing around with the trees and the ridge line and just trying to get spots on these people. I'm going to knock this tree over here. I'm going to knock this tree as well. And you can kind of poke up here in these trees and spot people. You see how we're spotting the Panther? And you can stay relatively hidden in the trees. It's not perfect, right? This is probably not a max concealment bush, like I would call it, when you're knocking the tree down. Usually it's 50% on a lot of bushes. You might be getting like 30 or 40 out of this or something like that. But I think you guys understand what I'm saying. I'm not going to go crazy talking about the game mechanics, but we're able to make this work, and we're kind of eliminating the Panther here. And my team, man, we end up, I'm going to spoil it for you guys, I end up throwing this game at the end, but I really think that we just had the worst team. Like, I did a lot of damage in this game. Felt like I was kind of carrying the team. But I just made a pretty big mistake at the end of the game, and the team is just very passive, man. I think that's really what it is. Like, a lot of times when I feel like I'm doing a lot of damage, I think the team, like the team that I'm on, is just very passive. I mean, we're at 2k damage in this thing. It only does like 105 damage a shot, 110 damage a shot. So that should tell you how many shots I've landed. And we have a Scorpion and an Excalibur, and like, these are kind of dangerous vehicles, man. So I'm trying to figure out what I can do here. The 40 TP goes out with no HP, and I'm like, dude, you have no HP, like, where are you going, man? Scorpion's full HP, and he cleans them up. Like, I'm playing defensively because we have 2 Artie left and me with 220 HP, and this guy has 150, and he just runs out there. I'm like, dude, stop. Like, where are you going, man? He just runs out there, and he kind of threw his tank away. And now I'm in a situation where it's just me and Artie, right? So this is frustrating, guys, because though Artie can support you, it's like, you want guns. You want real guns. You don't want artillery. Like, they can help you, but I would rather accurate guns in the back, right? Because Artie, it just takes too long for them to aim, and they're not really made for these like quick snapshots or anything, right? They're made as support vehicles to stun and stuff like that, and support usually the heavies or something like that, and hit like hold down vehicles. They're not really made to hit like fast moving vehicles, and I think we're going to be in a bit of a tricky situation here. So M44 starts YOLOing the base over here, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'll kind of try and put myself in between the two of them. I'm trying to work with these Arties and keep them alive. I see a tree gets knocked down here, and this is where the game gets good, right? This is where I like to really talk to you guys about like what I'm thinking and what I'm doing, because the Scorpion was full HP, right? And this Hummel, the Hummel actually hits this guy and lights him on fire. So watch that. You can see he hits him here. He shotguns him, right? I miss my shot, and the Scorpion dies just like that. One shot from the Hummel. So here I am saying how bad Artie is and how it's inaccurate and all, but this guy literally shotguns the crap out of the Scorpion and gets eliminated. So now we just have the Excalibur, right? And 2 other Artie players. What happens here, I would say it's kind of my fault. The M44 gets on the cap. The problem that occurs here is the M44 doesn't move. He stays on the cap, and what that allows is when he gets spotted, the Artie is able to clean him up. So I'm going to show you this. I get lit here, so let me pause. What does this imply, guys? If I'm getting lit here, what do you think is going on? Well, the Excalibur was last spotted in this location. He never moved. He's sitting right here. I'm getting spotted as I come up over here. It's very unlikely this guy like went over here or something. I probably would have lit him. He's sitting in the trees in this area, and now I'm concerned. I know the Excalibur doesn't hit super hard. At least the gun he hits me with only hits for like 150. And I'm pretty sure this tank is like a premium, right? So I don't think you can change anything on it. But I'm now noticing, like, okay, this guy hasn't moved. I figured when I came up and over here, I'd probably spot him, because the Excalibur's a pretty fat tank, right? So I just assumed that I'd probably spot him, but he's, you know, playing well. He's in the bush here. And now what happens is I know the M44 is on cap. So I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and I'm going to tell you why I messed this up. The M44 is on cap. The Excalibur spotted the M44 when he kind of moved out of this bush, right? I'm now thinking that the Excalibur is likely going to stay on this ridgeline or try and come around this way to hit the M44. What I forgot is that they still have 2 artillery tanks. So what ends up happening here is the Artie actually eliminates the M44. When I was playing this game, I thought it was the Excalibur that killed the M44 because I was looking this way. But if you watch here, I'm kind of poking this tree because I'm thinking what the Excalibur is going to do is stay right here and try and poke up and take a shot at the M44. I wasn't thinking about the enemy Artie, so this was my mistake. So I'm poking here, I'm waiting for the Excalibur to kind of poke here, and then when I don't see him, I'm thinking he's going like this, right? I'm thinking he's going like this, and then you see there, Hummel destroyed M44. So I didn't look at this. I should have looked at this and realized that it was the Hummel that cleaned up the M44. I thought it was the Excalibur because I wasn't looking in that direction, and I don't know why I thought this, because the Excalibur would have taken multiple shots to kill the M44. So when you play this game so much, man, sometimes you just don't think right. Like, I'm just thinking, like, this is high tier, the Excalibur has a really big gun, and he eliminated the M44, and I'm like, okay, he just fired, and now I'm coming up over the ridgeline, and I'm like, where is he? I'm like, what is going on here? And he ends up over here, like he's trying to run away. So I'm so silly, and I didn't think this through, guys. The Artie was the one that cleaned up the M44, and now I think the Excalibur is going to be right here. I thought he was going to be like right here or something and cleaned up the M44, because Arties have no view range, so I thought maybe the Artie just didn't spot him, and the Excalibur ends up over there. And yeah, man, it's unfortunate. I think I could have won this game. Like, if I was smart and looked at that and go, okay, M44 hit him, so now I don't know where the Excalibur is, I could have approached it carefully. I only needed to hit the Excalibur twice, man. But it's like, I'm telling you guys, when you play this game for so many battles, like, I have probably played like 50 battles up to this point, and you play for so much, you play so many games for so long that your brain doesn't function well anymore. You know what I mean? Like, you just start to lose your good thinking skills, if I'll call it that. And that's what happened here, guys. Like, I just wasn't thinking the situation through at all, and we ended up throwing this game. But we did end up with 2118 damage, 2053 spotting, so this was like 4200 combined, and we ended up 3-marking this vehicle. And it's unfortunate, man. Like, I can sit here and say the team was bad all I want, like my team was bad, but this is definitely a game where, if this was like one of my first games of the day where I was fresh in the mind, I could have carried this, man. Like, and there's just really no excuse. It's just, the only excuse I can come up with was I was sick of playing this vehicle, guys. I was tired, and I just didn't think. I just didn't think of the situation clearly, right? So that's what happened. And again, when you play a light tank, guys, it's all in here, man. You have to really think everything through and do a lot of 2 + 2 = 4. And I always tell you guys that, and my 2 + 2 = 4 was not a 2 + 2 = 4 in this game. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just threw it. So this was a mastery. Hip hip hooray, we got the 3-mark, guys. And I think we talked through this game enough, right? But yeah, we just had a lot of people that just didn't really... They did too, though. Their KV2 did 0 damage. Their G-Row or whatever, Rudy, they all did 0 damage. But when I'm doing 2100 damage in a tier 6 light tank in like a tier... This was a all 6 game, actually, I think. Or they had a Scorpion, so wasn't it like maybe a couple 7s or whatever? But regardless, guys, is the Scorpion a tier... I thought this Scorpion was a tier 7. Maybe I'm wrong, guys. HTC is a tier 6, right? Maybe this was an all 6 game. I don't know, man. No, Su-152. I know that's a tier 7. So there's a couple tier 7s. And, or maybe even just one, right? Scorpion and Su. But regardless, guys, when I'm doing 2100 damage in the VK2801 or any light tank at tier 6, it means that I'm definitely carrying my weight as well as probably a couple other people's. And it was the case here. So again, like, I'm always like 50-50 with this. Like, I blame myself, but I also have to kind of say, like, this team was definitely not the better team if I'm doing 2100 damage here and we still lost the game. But I definitely, if I was thinking about the situation right, I should have won this game 100%. So it is what it is, guys. You have to move on, and that's it, man. Nothing more to say. We fired 32 shots. 24 of them hit. We pinned 20. We used our gun a lot in this game, and yeah, we came out with the 3-mark. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with that, and that's all. I'll catch you guys for the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.